Dylan, man. Happy to have you, my guy.
Blessings, blessings. Let me say, number one, for the people of the world, Art is not AI. He's not AI. He's a real person. I doubted it. I was like, Art is gonna be some AI. It's just a voice, because no one sees you. No one sees you. They don't know how you look. They don't know. So you can walk past Art every day. Ladies and gentlemen, he is not AI. He's a real person. Big up yourself, man. Bless up, bless up. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm definitely a real person, man.
Yeah,
I'm definitely a real person.
I see it. I see it. I see it. Bless up.
So for the people that's unfamiliar with you, let the people know who you is.
Well, my name is Dylan Dilly. I am. I represent for the Caribbean. I represent for New York. I represent for musicians. I represent for the millionaires. I I've been doing music for a long time. I Yeah, because there is a lot of people that don't know who Dylan is. As a matter of fact, it's to the point I've seen comments of people that said he's a real person. like like Dylan is actually a real person. So yeah. So yeah, um a father, a husband, a cousin, just a millionaire man. You know what I mean? Just Dylan is Dylan. And I know we have a lot to talk about, but I started off as a selector. If we want to go into history, we can go there. Um, the first party I ever did, I DJ'd a party back home in my country of Carriacou, Grenada, and I was 13 years old. So I DJ'd first at 13 years old, and it was a teen night. And the promoter named Kim the King, he put that together. And it was myself, a DJ named Dr. Wax, and a DJ Dougsy. That was at 13. Fast forward, at 18 years old, myself and my brother Jason Ned, Precise, we built up our own sound system. So a lot of my history has to do with DJing and playing on the turntables. Fast forward after that, a few years after, Precise told me, he was like, you know what, you kind of nice with the lyrics, you should come out with a tune. And I was like, I don't really know about that. I'm not a fan of that kind of fame. But after a while, I caught some charges and I was on the road. And then a family member of mine told me about this audition while I was out on bail. And I was like, you know what? We could go to this audition, you know what I mean? Enjoy the time for a little bit. And I'm gonna go to jail. And when I come back after my year, because I had got a bullet, then after that, then people will know who I am, and we'll get back to DJing and I'm saying, a little bit of the artistry. There's more to it. With my life story, there's more to it. There's more to it. I don't want to jump the gun, but there's more to it.
Yes, indeed. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into the audition. We're gonna get into making the band. But before we get into any of that, I gotta ask you, and I'm sure the people want me to ask you too, Diddy, how you feel about what he going through right now?
Well, I'm gonna answer you. I'm gonna answer you, but I gotta tell you this. When it comes to that, I put together a list, and there are two types of lists. This list right here is a list of things that interviewers do not ask me. This is a list of things that interviewers do not ask me, and I'm going to tell you exactly this is what they don't ask me and things that I would love to talk about. And this is a list of things that interviewers always do ask me. Are you with me so far? This is a list of things that you guys, the media, the interviewers, do not ask me. And I would love to talk about this. This is the list in no particular order. The revolution in Grenada, the roots of calypso and soca music, sound system culture and dub plates, Haile Selassie I, the Nassau Voyager mission, Ezekiel's wheel, the nation of gods and earths, the nation of Islam, Juneteenth, and everything that comes with that, the art of DJing and selecting, the New York Knicks, the New York Giants, the New York Rangers, cricket, real football, single parenthood, and me being a single father for X amount of years, then being married and having a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. So marriage, fatherhood, parenting, real parenting, government secret agencies, Freemasonry. I'm a proud Freemason. We can't talk too much about that, but the Divine Nine, country living. When I used to carry water and plant corn and plant melon and be in the West Indies, you understand? Country living, real country living, where you cooking with a pot and putting together, you know what I'm saying, with a fire outside. Yeah, real country living. They don't talk about that. Study of the stars and how the stars affect us. Obia, agriculture. The true meaning of love and hate. Music and why and its true purpose. Credit, good credit, bad credit. They don't ask me about that. Entrepreneurship, LLCs, corporations, and more. Travel, exploring other countries, the different countries that I've been to. Karma, reincarnation. Jah, Jehovah, Allah, Yahweh, what's his real name? Herbs and the benefits of cannabis. Brewing companies, because I had my own beer. A lot of people don't even know that. And I'm going to explain why they don't know that. You know what I'm saying? The top 5 brew came out. It was a seasonal beer, but we'll talk about that. That was in 21. Cooking, the prison system business, because it's a business. Radio, me being on the radio for the past 3 years on iHeartRadio via Fubu Radio every Sunday from 10 p.m. to 12. That's every Sunday I'm on the radio. No one talks about that. Well on. EMS, because I was a volunteer EMS for a long time. EMS, the whole entire medical field. I did that for free, saving lives for free. Carnival, the jab. Polygamy and monogamy, the real top 5 rappers of all time. The pyramids, extraterrestrial life, low caliber bullets versus high caliber bullets. Concrete Boys Volume 1. Why is Caribou not still a part? I don't understand. They need part 2. We're going to link that. I'm going to help you with that, Yadi. I got you. Interracial dating, 90s grunge, pop culture. The pressure of families and how it affects them when you are artists. How do they feel? Because they ain't asked to be famous. Lowe's, when I was working at Lowe's and caught the charge the other day. Helping others that come after and not hating on the next generation. And the negativity of the internet. Oh, and of course, UK drill. Those are things that you interviewers and media people never ask me, and I would love to talk about. Now, here are the things that they do ask me every time. Here we go. Diddy do it? Did he not do it? Did he do it? David Chappelle, Diddy, and do you get along with the band members? Y'all not tired yet? Like, y'all don't see it? Here's the crazy part. And again, I'm going to answer your question. And I want you to see the windows of my soul because I don't wear these to block my thing. You understand? This is from Can't Relate Clothing. That's why I'm wearing it. So big up to Can't Relate Clothing. My thing is this. Mighty, you've reached a level now where you're controlling the algorithm. You're the boss. It's not Vlad and these suckers, you know. It's not none of them no more. You understand? Like you're leading the actual pack. If you asked one of those questions, or even several of those questions, they could stop talking about Diddy. If you came to Tupac Shakur right now, I told you I was a fan of this because you were talking about Tupac Shakur. I answered you the same way his spirit would. You actually have, I'm not the one to change the world, but I could just shine a little light to change just a little bit, dog. Like, honestly, you can actually ask these questions. And you know what the rest of these vloggers got to do? They got to follow you. They can't even do that no more. After a while, they're like, Art of Dialogue talking about good credit, this, that, third, and extraterrestrials and all kind of shit. I need to step my game up. You are leading them. It's you. It's you. It's you. So I'm going to put back on these shades, and that's my education, and I'm dead ass serious. It's a fact. You could actually change this whole entire thing. As far as Diddy, the last time I spoke to him was 2024. Matter of fact, fuck all that. This is something else I needed to address because the last time I was semi-viral, and this got to do with Idi Amin, Vlad, and the Afro dude. What's the Afro dude? He played the drums. The gimmick, yeah, the gimmick. Gimmick because, like, if he didn't have the Afro and he walked past you on the street, you wouldn't know who he was. You know what I'm saying? So him, Questlove. So they took this piece and said, Dylan says Chappelle ruined his career. And I'm disappointed because that interview that I did was a timeline of my life. We spoke about my birth. We talked about my life in Brooklyn. We talked about my life in the West Indies. And then when we talked about 2006, I explained what happened in 2006. That's how I felt. Later, I spoke about linking up with David Chappelle, me and him taking shots and having a great time and having great conversation. And Chappelle even saying that I'm the one that made him famous. After that, I named my radio show the Top 5 Show, hence the situation. So my thing is this: what made these idiots put this in present time and feel like it was present time? Idi Amin said a real hustler would have done something with it. And I'm like, I hit up, see, I'm not afraid of confrontation. Fortunately and unfortunately. I don't do the internet because most people nowadays, this is their confrontation. Look, this is it. I linked Idi Amin, he never called me. I left my number, all of that. Vlad, same thing. The Quest Afro dude, I gave up on that. But all of these people had something negative to say, like, oh, how dare he say that? He's not a real hustler. What's wrong with him? He's just lazy. He's blaming Chappelle. That was in 2006. So you're not smart enough to know that, Vlad? Like, you're not smart enough to see through that was a piece of, we're talking about a timeline. Why didn't you speak about the link up with Chappelle? Why didn't you speak about us having shots and speaking about his roots from Grenada? Why didn't y'all speak about that? You didn't want to. Because the thing is, the internet right now, it focuses on that. Well, whoever's having the most negative fuckery, whoever's having the most jokes, and that's what climbs to the top. And now you're boss, you're out of here. What happened to just being real? Like, you know what? He said that was his timeline. That's what happened. You fucking right. That's what happened in 2006. There was a lot that happened. All of these things that I mentioned, people haven't heard from me. Why was I silenced? What do I know? You understand where I'm coming from? Like, so I blame them, Idi Amin, Quest, and the Poswal Vlad for not being, I'm more disappointed. I feel like you guys should have been smarter than that. You know what I'm saying? And obviously I see that they're not, so yeah.
Speaking of that, right, Dave Chappelle, give me more clarity on that. Like, what's the issue between both of y'all? Because I know he did the skit, but I never understood like where everything went wrong between both of y'all.
I give you the brief thing. If it wasn't good, I wouldn't name my radio show after it. My radio show is called the Top 5 Show on Fubu Radio every Sunday from 10 p.m. to 12. I think Choppa explained that whole situation, so, but I will say that
But I want to hear
number
it from
one is
you. I
hilarious.
want you to speak on it.
Yeah, well, all right. From me, the joke itself is hilarious and it's timeless. It has put my name in pop culture forever. Not just timeless. That is timeless, as my family would say. That is timeless. And I don't want to say but, and if your intentions when you created the line and created the joke, if your intentions were positive, then why no linkage since? Why no meetup? I've tried when I was younger, not nowadays, because I could care less. But back then, I wanted to know, like, yo, let's link up. You doing shows? I DJ. Everyone knows that. I DJ fets, I DJ bacchanal, I DJ backyard parties, I DJ weddings, I DJ clubs, I DJ events for 2,500 people. You understand? I was a Ciroc Boys DJ and a Ciroc ambassador, all of that, taking the brands, but we're going to speak about that as well. The fact is, damn, I can't DJ to open up. You can't even link up. Like, I need a drop. Hey, this is David Chappelle listening to Dial and Dilly on Fubu Radio. Like, nothing. So when people do things, you have to check the intention. Why is it that there's a disconnect? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you wanted me to do great from it, then where was the connection? I should be able to call. People would assume that's like, what? You did a mockery of me, You took my personality and my image. I'm not asking for a dime. I don't need $1 from you. But yo, dog, how you been? Let me get a drop. You doing a show, something, and again, this is not me asking, because people will splice this up and do shorts. I'm not asking Dave Chappelle for nothing. God bless you. Thank you very much. But if your intentions were actually positive, you would have seen some kind of interaction with us more than just that time when we linked up. Because after that, when we took those shots and chilled and all that, you didn't hear nothing. Matter of fact, most of the world didn't even know. It's on TMZ, by the way, but still.
So Dave Chappelle didn't give you a check or anything for that?
A lot of people say that he owes me a check for that. A lot of people, I personally don't feel that way. I feel like you owe a conversation. You owe a sit down. You owe a reasoning. Absolutely. A check? Nah, keep your money. I don't want them kind of money. I'm good on that. But as far as a conversation, like more than just that night that I wasn't invited to, by the way. He was performing in Brooklyn. That's my hometown. I'm Flatbush to the, So I had to pull up when you were in my place, and I pulled up and still nothing. We spoke really quick. I asked him, what made you do that? He's like, yo, I had to, man. My grandmother from Grenada, man. And, I had to make up that whole thing, And I was like, okay. And I was like, I didn't know that your family's from Grenada. He's like, yeah. He's like, let's take some shots. And we did all that. And after that, now his entourage started showing love and all that. Again, I don't want to dwell on it too much because, to be honest, I lived so much life since then. I know it's important and the people want to know, but it's like, when people ask me these questions too, I just sent my son off to college, right? I just literally sent my son off to college. And when that happened, he wasn't born yet. So imagine how much life I've lived since that time. We're talking 5th grade, we're talking middle school, we're talking high school, we're talking years and years. And then all of the blackball and the grinding through music and so much ups and downs, life and tribulations way after. And it's like, hold up, y'all still talking about that? It's almost like y'all parked my career over there. as if nothing happened after, as if he did not exist. You understand? Like after David Chappelle, it was parked. That was it. We don't want to hear anymore. Like what happened? Grow with me. Grow with me, because if you grew with me, you would know all of the works that we did. And again, I'm not angry or nothing. That's just how life goes, People honor you more when you're dead. When you're dead and gone, they'll honor you more. And I'm okay with that, I'm okay with that. Matter of fact, I'm okay with the cult following that I got. I don't even need new people. If new people come, respect and love, that is cool, respect. But I'm good with the little cult that's been supportive and being with me. The road knows who I am, and I'm good with that. But a lot of people do not have good intentions when they do things, And I've learned that with life experiences. And please, I have the receipts, and the receipts are living people. I got Zoe on the line if I need to call him, Kenny from MTV, and the entire MTV production. They have already told me if I need receipt, they'll vouch for me and speak on this. But they told me that day that it was a day off. I need you to see me when I'm saying this. This day was a day off. And you know me, half the time I ain't there anyway. So I was excited, like, all right, I'm gone. You don't have to tell me twice. I'm out of here. And I left. That evening I went to the beach with my first baby mother. I'm moving around. You understand? We chilling. And I got a call from Chopper around 5 p.m. and he said, hey dog, you're gonna be mad. And I was like, you know how Chopper talk. I was like, mad about what? He was like, yo, man, David Chappelle did the skit. I'm like, a sketch? What are y'all talking about? And he explained the whole thing. I was just like, word. I said, yo, when I see him, I'll go beat him, you know. Because I didn't know what was going on. But it was set up for that. You know what I mean? They other people would say, oh, he didn't show up. Now, if even if Chappelle lied to me that day, I wish I didn't know anyway. You understand? Like either way, I don't regret it. You understand? So yeah, like how it turned out is how it turned out. It's cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? If people feel like I didn't show up and they just decided to let's choose Dylan. Okay. If you want to be that simple, that you can have that idea, okay. But MTV crew definitely told me, look, you have a day off and you can make some moves. So I was like, cool, peace. I'm gone. You have to remember these times, most of the time, I wasn't around. I seen a lot of free. I seen a lot of effery going on. I did see through a lot of things. And I chose not to be there because it was a very unhappy place for me, even though it was at the height of our careers. That's that's an illusion. That's what people think careers are. Like careers, like the height of your career is when you're the most happiest. So I don't know what they're talking about, but I was and I remember like my cousin Mr. Miyagi, Cornell, and the people that I was around. You have to remember this was being filmed in New York, and the people that I'm around, these are people that are associated with Haitian Jack. These are people that knew the hustler Jay-Z when Jay-Z was actually hustling. You understand, with that Maryland trips and all that, the type of people that raised me and my older, you know, family members. And Babs has similar family members too, because some of the people who were incarcerated, my older cousins that I was incarcerated, they were incarcerated with Babs people. You understand? So they would talk about us, you know, upstate. But these type of people that do real works in the street, they would pull up and pick me up. So we're talking about Escalades pulling up, G-Wagons pulling up to the making of the band house, new Lexuses, and all of that at a time when the band didn't even get a check yet. Like we didn't even have a check. You know what I'm saying? The Don's rolling in with rollies and all of that. And I know that Sean at that time, Sean had to see it. Now that I'm older, I realize Sean was watching all of this. Like this nigga Dylon. Like, you know, like, that's who he around. Okay, I see you, Playboy. I see you, you know. I already know how that was going. Now I know. But there's times like it wasn't a happy place for me. Um, it wasn't a happy place. Another thing I gotta address though, and I have to address this, the end of making of the band, because this is where the end of making of the band leads to my death row days with the row with Suge Knight. It goes into the mixtapes that came out, the disappearances of me after me coming out with so many albums without anyone knowing, being signed to Akon's distribution, Con Live, without how many people not knowing. This goes into my album being released in 2018, being considered for a Grammy, Pain to Power being released on VP Records, being considered for a Grammy, and you still not knowing. the band reuniting on my EP 1:11 p.m. that came out in 2021 without you knowing. You know, I must say I respect when Sean say he gonna do something, he do something. You know, I remember beefing with Sean and we made peace after that. But I remember beefing with Sean and he said, you know what I'm gonna do? Because I had real beef, real war with Sean. Not because he's incarcerated, like some of you. You see, there's a difference. There's a difference between us. Some of you, you know what we're gonna call this? We're gonna call this interview common sense. 1 + 1 = 2. That's what we're gonna call the interview. 1 + 1 = 2. I'm a man, I'm simple. I'm very simple. I'm a man that feels like this. If I have a problem with you and you've done something immoral, disgusting, negative, or disrespectful to me or around me, I address it at that time. I am not waiting 10 years, 20 years, or when you get incarcerated to come out and say, hey, you know what he did back in the days. Y'all need to stop the foolery. 1 + 1 = 2. I'm a simple man. It's either we have maybe got too accustomed to cowards living and doing this internet thing. Again, Tupac's spirit is in the building, and I ain't Tupac, but the spirit of realness is here. Where I come from, in my island, West Indian people, or my block in Long Island or Brooklyn, East Flatbush, 50s. If you have a problem with somebody, you came back to the block and said, yo, so-and-so did something to me. I'm gonna say, then what did you do? And where is he now? Why is it that everybody and their mother have something to say 20 years later or now that the man is incarcerated? I'm not beef with no man in jail. Y'all really did this. And I blame you, mighty no man. You know, I get away. You're not getting away. Because I blame you because you are giving these people a platform to talk about stories that they should have handled then. Your boy Gene, respect to Gene. He is so entertaining. He is so entertaining. Gene, oh Gene, you are 7 foot tall and 300 pounds. Gene, why is it every week you have a new story about what they did, but didn't have a story about what you did that day? I have stories of what I did that day. That's why you didn't hear from me for 20 fucking years. And guess what? I have my integrity to this day. Let's go examples. Today is called common sense. 1 + 1 is what? 2. Let's say, because I was thinking about this, and these shades from Can't Relate, I want to put them on and support, you know, but the sweater's here. Anyway, let's say you at Diddy crib and you wake up. Let's say, allegedly, you wake up and you feel like your body been violated. You think your body been brutalized. You're feeling it's kind of oily. Something is wrong. You waking up, nobody there. You in the bedroom by yourself. You like, oh something happened to me. I was drugged. You in the house. You know it's a kitchen? You mean to tell me there's a kitchen? You know what's in a kitchen?
A knife.
Wait, all right. You know what is longer knife? You know what is hot oil? Hot oil? You know what I'm talking about? You know what is there's hot oil, you could boil some water, you got a knife. You mean to tell me that you got drugged and got your body violated and brutalized in a house with a kitchen, And you did nothing but gotta tell me 15 years later, when the man is incarcerated, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe none of you. Because and let's keep it real. These are black people we talking about, people of color, brown people, right? So you don't have a hothead cousin? You know every black person got a hothead cousin? You know every one of us got that headless cousin or that headless person on the block like, yo, if they with you, just call me. Everybody has a big brother or a crazy cousin or somebody on the block that you can go to and say, hey, I mean, everybody has this. And you telling me that not only did you not do it yourself, but you couldn't tell the headless cousin that with the big brother figure, the goon that's on your block, everybody got a goon. And you couldn't tell the goon to go handle that. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Again, you haven't heard from me. The majority of the people, the larger demographic of your platform, knows who Dylan is. But a lot of them don't know half the works that I just mentioned. And I'm okay with that. You know why? I have my integrity. They didn't do what I did. I was at Hot 97 with K Slay. I was there back in the day saying, Diddy, come up to the station so I can spit in your face. I was the one that said, let's shoot the fair one. I don't like how you edited the show. I'm the one that got the call from Harv Pierre. Bless up Harv Pierre. And Harv Pierre said, you sure you want this? And I said, yeah. I said, Harv, I love you. But he disrespected by the editing. He made it look like he kicked me out the house. And he did. I'd never seen him. I was picked up by my cousin Miyagi. You edited that bad. And I was pissed. I'm young. You have to remember we kids. And I wasn't taking that kind of shit, you mud. So I'm like, all right, let's go. It's on and cracking, and it's time for war at this time. See, you guys say at this time because then the puss was like Vlad and them, and they're gonna start taking shots from Art and doing stuff like they did before. Because they love the negative side, like, oh, look, he's beefing with Diddy. How am I beefing with Diddy when Diddy texted me before he went to jail? We'll talk about it. Anyway, I was the one that went to war. Yeah, like it was actual war. And Sean told me, Mr. Sean Combs, brother Sean said, if you beef with me, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna respond. I'm not gonna say a word. And he said that you're gonna have a one or two interviews, and you can be hot for a second, and then you're gonna fizzle away. You're gonna just fizzle away and disappear. Because no one's gonna want to work with you. And sure enough, I came out with so much music, so much work. I was like, the only person that's gonna rock with me is Suge. And that the Suge story, there's 3 chapters to it. So I don't even know where to begin because I was signing to the Row. And I remember saying, and this was the Row. Corrupt was there, Crooked Eye was there, all the family at that time. And I was signing to the Row. And me and Suge, I spent a month over there. And Suge was ready with the contract. I remember Crooked Eye like, yo, you're gonna get $50,000, a death row chain, and a car. I said, boy, that's more than I got at Bad Boy. I said, so let's go. I said, I'm happy for this. I'm very happy for this. And you know, me and Suge was in the office at this time, I remember, and even that, blessed love to Suge, you know what I'm saying? He showed a lot of love. I remember being amazed that I had his number because at that time, you didn't have the CEO's phone number. You couldn't have, Sean Combs' number direct. You had to go through assistants and all that. The same assistants that's snitching on you and going to court and talking crazy about you, right? Right. Those. The ones that were guarding the gates and didn't want me to get any kind of food because y'all so bad boy. And now look at y'all. There's so many levels to this. There's so many levels. But Suge, Um, the crazy part is before the band started, I told you I was DJing. And while I'm DJing, I came out with a CD called Calm Before the Storm. I'm not going to stay here too long, but I sent my demo to a few places. I sent it to Jive, I sent it to J Records, I sent it to Death Row. When I got chose for Making of the Band, before it even aired, while we're filming Making of the Band, I called my mom on the phone. Now, the MTV phone was recorded. And I called mom. I said, Mom, what's going on? And mom's like, you have a a phone call from them people in the West Coast, you know. I don't want to say it over the phone. And I'm like, yeah. Suge was calling. Cedric and Suge and the family at the Row at the time was calling while I was on Making of the Band. So I left the house again. I left the house and I went on the train and I took the train home and I was just like, yo, and I called, we organized a call and Suge called me. And I was like, that was the first time we spoke. And I was like, yo, I'll go on. He was like, yo, what's going on, man? I said, yo, you ain't gonna believe me when I tell you this. He was like, what? He's, I'm ready to sign you. This is before it's even aired. Suge was ready to sign me before it even aired. And here's a crazier part, because I have a lot to say. Before Suge, the first person that wanted to sign me is E-Double, Eric Sermon. Eric Sermon and Def Squad was the first person to say, I respect your talent, I see what you're doing. Because the music at that time, what I was cooking up and giving to the people was hip hop, but with patois. You know? See, people are like, well, where's his accent? And is he Jamaican? And is he this? And he's that? And a third. We came up from a school of selectors in New York City. And no matter what country you were from, whether it was Trinidad or Grenada, you sounded Jamaican as a dancehall artist. Moving forward, when I got on Making of the Band, people from Bad Boy and my inner team, people that were part of the team at the time, so Bad Boy team and my team and a publicist were telling me, listen, anytime you get in front of that TV, talk pure Jamaican. Do not talk English. And I'm like, why? Why do y'all want me to do this? And they said the reason why, because it's a super group. You have these kids coming from different locations and you have to represent in a major way. So you have Chop talking from New Orleans. You have Babs being Brooklyn. You can't have two people talking Brooklyn. You already are from the West Indies. Yeah, we know you plant corn already. Yeah, we know you really from there. You went to Hillsbury Secondary School. Yeah, you climb mango tree, all them something there. We know you really West Indian, but please just talk like that right through. So that was a stigma. And I remember people saying like, well, is he Jamaican? Is he this? He's forcing the accent, you know? And I'm like, this is what I was asked to do. And I didn't have a problem with that. You know, I had to crawl so Safari could walk. You know what I mean? So there was no Sean Kingston at this time. There was no Rihanna. Riri didn't even come out yet. This is before Rihanna. There were no Caribbean artists representing on a every week level for 3 years being seen by that many people. So when they said just talk yardie, I said, all right, then fine, here we go, here we go. But I am absolutely a proud West Indian American, and that's how that go. So my style was hip hop with patois. And I was giving them that, you know, respect due to KRS One, respect due to Duck Down, you know, respect due to Cardinal Official. Even though Cardinal Official later on, after the TV show, Cardinal Official, I linked one of our mutual friends, and I said, yo, we have to link up. I want to do a collab. And he wrote back, we're not in the island thing right, you know. These are people who I had high respect for. Why? Why? So that's another confrontation that has to happen because I refuse to do it over the internet, even though this is kind of internet, but like, you know, this is us having a reasoning. What Kanye said, I'm in the room talking like it's just me and you know, so that's just how that go, you know, respect to Ye. And oh, even Ye, I'm the one that told Ye, we have too much to talk about, man. This is going to be too much. This is going to be too much because now we just bouncing all over the place. Big up to Ye. I approached Ye and I said to Ye, listen, What you did on that Blueprint album is amazing. I need you to do the whole entire The Band album, please. Please. And he said, yo, it would be an honor. We traded numbers. Mr. Ye himself, Kanye West, we traded numbers, everything all right. This was in Chicago. It was a show that we did. 50 was there, a bunch of people. R. Kelly was there, a bunch of people back then. And I came back and I seen our manager, who I did not vote for, Mr. Phil Robinson. I voted for Violator, but majority rules, because when you're voting for management, you know what I'm saying, like that's just how it go. So I voted for Violator, and I spoke to Chris Lighty. God bless, God bless. And that never happened because the majority wanted Phil Robinson to manage the band. And I said, Phil Wagwan, and Phil was no. See with Phil, this is a lot. This is good. I think the funniest thing about this interview is how much he's going all over the place. So it's almost like we need more detail on this. But with Phil Robinson, the other day, like, all right, with Phil, oh, Phil Robinson, he died the other day. The roach is out of here. But here's the thing. The problem with Phil was the fact that not only did I not vote for you to be our manager, but then the day he becomes our manager, he comes through to me and whispered in my ear and he said, yo, you know, say everything all right, bad man. Now, hold it down here, our thing, our people to the world. I said, get this nigga from Jamaica. Now, keep in mind, when Caribbean people entered this industry at this time, there wasn't much of us. So when you see Wyclef, it's like, yo, we got a link. And even Wyclef did. Oh, Clef. Wait, Clef. Clef, we're going to get to you. But with Phil, when he said that and spoke in patois, I said, Lord, everything all right. Because I didn't vote for you, but I didn't realize you're an island person like me. You're from the Caribbean. Then he talks to everybody else, regular American, you know how it goes. And then he talked to me. Every time he talked to me, it's patois. He's like, okay, guys, you know what I mean? We're going to do this and we're going to do that and da-da-da. And then lady sees me, he's like, yo, wagwan, everything all right. Cool, no problem. When Sean was dissecting us one time when we were lined up and they were talking about my acne, you know, at the time, so much acne, he said, yeah, we got to get you a dermatologist. And I went to Phil and Phil was like, I got you, no worries, man. So every week I would go to Phil like, yo, what happened to my dermatologist? And Phil would be like, no worries, man, everything all right. No worries, man, everything all right. Fast forward many years later, when we did the shows, Chopper and these people are right. I'm going to go into more detail because Chopper's my younger brother. Freddie's my younger brother. Your big brother here. No, I remember facts. We were paid $1,500 every show. And that was half of the show. Half of the tour, excuse me. The other half of the tour was a promo run. And I would always see Phil pop up on these promo runs. He would leave his nice crib in New York, and all of a sudden you see Phil in Chicago or some random place. Why are you here, our business manager? Because we're not getting paid tonight. And then other times we get paid $1,500. In the year 2021, I finally received paperwork of what happened back in the days. And yes, it is true, my people and my strangers on the internet who are going to be doing this. The band was paid. I seen 120,000 a night. I seen 150,000 a night. I seen 210, 200,000 one other night. And this is every night. But you gave us 1,500. But you're my manager. You're my manager and the one who I looked at as the closest because you're from where I'm from. You know my dialect, you know my food, you know my culture. You're my people, Phil. So the other day I said what I said. I said, Phil the Roach, is gone. The roach is gone. Rest in peace. I hope you died twice. And I mean that, you know. Now here's the thing. Now I'm gonna give you here's the crazy part. Now, my house right now, I'm living okay. And my house is beautiful. Now keep in mind on Instagram, I called Phil the Roach. Remember that? All right. How in my house, I don't got no roaches. Right now, if you have roaches in your house, no disrespect, I know how it go. Because growing up, we had roaches in the house. I get it. It might not be you. It might be your dirty neighbors, them, your neighbors bringing the roaches, whatever. But I'm telling you, currently in my house, I do not have roaches. Do you see where I'm about to go with this? I have no roaches. How after I put that post up, I walk in the bathroom and in the tub, what I see, a roach. I said, oh snap, Phil, he reincarnated. He actually reincarnated into the roach I literally just said he was going to be a roach. The roach in my house. I don't have roaches. So I kill him off. I'm start torturing him now, right? Now he got the one leg squealing, the one leg he going crazy. And I took the roach and I put it in the thing. I was gonna call my wife to take a look, but she's sleeping. I said, nah, I can't bother. Cause if she wake up and see the shit in the thing, you know, I can't do that. So I flushed it. I remember saying, rest in peace, Phil. I really got rid of Phil now. Like, I couldn't believe that. Like, I really got rid of the roach. Like, that's crazy. So I'm excited. I was excited about that. Um, and so again, yay. Phil told me, nah, he said, who, the guy from Rock, he's not gonna be nobody. Yay, I will say this, yay, if you watching, man, there's a lot of people that doubted you when I believed. I was like, yo, I already know where he's going. I see a lot of artists, a lot of producers. I know producers right now that were producers who are artists now, and I told them they're gonna be the next thing. And I told them in their face, I don't get thank yous for that. I don't get no acknowledgement for that, you know. But yeah, I believed in Ye early, early, early. And the people who did not believe are the ones who was riding his cocky for years and years and years to come. And it's so crazy to see the hypocrisy of people that do that, you know? So let's go back. The style was hip hop and patois. When I signed and joined making of the band back then, that was the style. Later, they said, no, talk all Jamaican right through on the screen. And we need you to be more Sean Paul. We need you to be like Elephant Man at the time. We gotta wear bright colors. As if Caribbean people running around with big mangoes on the shirts and red, gold, and green. They had me red, gold, and green, everything bright. They had to be, because you had to be the Caribbean representative. And I'm not happy with that. I was upset that every time I tried to give them the original style that you actually signed me for, a year later, now you want me to do something else. And I'm not with this. This was a musical decision at first, you know? And I parted ways with the situation. And then when the editing came down, that's when I went to war. I went to war. So not only am I not happy musically, because I mean, that's the whole point, right? You're an artist. You're supposed to breathe and feel free as an artist. So I said, no, 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 no. I'm done with that. So I went to war. I'm tired of holding these. So I'm not hiding the windows of my soul. To my spiritual people, because I know there's a lot of spiritual people that's watching, I am an Aquarius. I am an Aquarius. And I'm a Sagittarius rising. And I'm a Cancer moon. I am a Cancer moon fully and true. So my spiritual people, they fully understand that I don't have to explain to them no more. As far as my people who don't care about none of the signs, I'm really, really New York and West Indian to the core. And that's just why I am the way I am. I'm very confrontational and that's it. But when it was over, I went to war with Sean from 2005, like I said, when the death row deal couldn't happen because of a cease and desist letter that we received. And Suge said, when the cease and desist is over, I got you. Blessings to you, Suge. But 2005, I went to war with who you call Diddy. I went to war with Diddy 2006, 2007. The Chappelle joke didn't help. 2008, 2009, 2010. I'm still at war with Diddy. 11, 12, 13, 2014, 2015, 2016. Where were you? Where were you? Where were y'all then? The only people that I seen that went to war with and were confrontational with Sean at these times is me and the Locks. And you see my outcome. Where were you? Where were all of these people who are so anti-Diddy? Oh, I forgot. You were too busy trying to get into the white party. You were too busy. You were too busy. Y'all were too busy. No one cared. No one cared. And we talking World Star. It was like we were dropping, me and Mazio, big up Mazio. Me and Mazio was dropping videos 2 times, boom, twice a month, 2 times a month, boom, drop another one. Mixtape after mixtape. I don't even want to begin with the names of it. The Reborn mixtape, the Spit Hot Fire mixtape, the music will Let the Music Talk mixtape. That was in 2012. There were so many different projects, so much different music. You didn't gravitate to it. Where were you? You were dancing, right? You were following him, right? I was still at war with him on site. This is an on-site situation at this time. On site, every avenue was shut. So I go. That's life. And that's a long time. But now, all of a sudden, everyone wants to go to war with him. Now, wait. There was a guy named Doug Cash. And Doug Cash, he invited me while, again, I'm at war with this man. So you're not hearing from me. You understand? I'm trying my best. I'm trying to call links. And for the record, Sean never blackballed me, you know. Sean Combs never blackballed me and said, you know what, don't play his record. You didn't want to play my record because of, if he's not working with Sean, I can't do it. I had Jay-Z's A&R when Jay-Z was at Def Jam and he was the president at Def Jam. I had an A&R friend of mine who worked with Jay-Z and gave Jay-Z the new music, not that making of the band Foolishness. No disrespect to our album, but the real music. The music that's similar to the EP 111 PM. You know, when you type in 111 PM, the music that sounds like that, very solid, that I take very serious. That Jay-Z said to the A&R, after listening to my music in 2005, the quote unquote from the A&R, he said, damn, I actually like his music. I'm sorry that homie got a bad card dealt to him. I can't step on Puffy's toes. I'm not going to do that. And this was everybody. Because remember, we know everybody. You can tell from the Chopper stories. You know how many stories I have with artists? We know everyone, especially in this time, and everyone knows us. So imagine how much people I linked and tried to link, how many labels. We go on and on, from Disturbing the Peas to Def Jam to, I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. No one wanted to do it because even if they liked me or liked my talent, if Sean's not working with you, how come? It's just common sense though. I'm not even blaming them. Please understand that. This is not a bitter thing. Because again, me and Sean spoke in the last days and we're going to get to how that happened. It's not even bitter. If you and I, Art, Mighty, me and you got into the business together around the same time, and you have you got your videographer. Should I big you up? You know what I'm saying? Big up to Blake. Your videographer, Blake, is here. And you and Blake have a falling out. Blake is beefing with you. I'm not signing Blake. I know you. Me and you got into the business from 90, whatever. These people know Sean forever. It's just a natural blackball. Because if this man knows how to make millions and hundreds of millions of dollars, then why hasn't he invested into this young man? We're good on him. And you disappear. Not only that, but now we have a joke that's calling him the top 5 rappers of all time at the same time this is happening. So now it's like, we can't take this dude serious because now they think that you really said it. This is before I trademarked it, before I even coined it myself. You understand? So it's like, yo, hold up. You really did that. You really did that by doing nothing, just like he said he would. He literally said it. I don't have to do nothing. Nobody gonna fuck with you, playboy. So again, when these people want to talk all this craziness, where were you? Or as we say back home, where them did they? Where them did they? Left for me. Where are you there? Y'all were nowhere to be found. Nowhere. And now y'all got beef for them? The irony. Now hold on. 2016 comes around and a guy named Dougie Cash. Doug Cash links me and says, hey, I want to do a collab with you and I'm working at Daddy's house, Bad Boy Studios for those who do not know. And I said, that's where you're recording at? Now keep in mind, I haven't been there since before the beef with me and Sean. It's 2016. And I said, all right, I'll forward. You know what I mean? I'm going to pull up to. So when I walked into Daddy's house, Bad Boy Studios, it was like, not only was the best vibe, and I remember the feeling of it, the creativity, the legacy of how much artists recorded over there and how I felt, but the people over there, they acted like me and him wasn't beefing. The people were acting like as if I was in good accord. You understand? Like everything was fine. We were good. So I was just like, oh, all right. You know I'm a hustler, right? That's how I know exactly what I'm about to do. Me and Doug Cash do the tune. You know I was in there every day recording. So now I'm using Bad Boy Studios. Now I'm just using it. Because then I'm like, hold up, you mean I can use this and no one's gonna, you can't charge me nothing because I'm Dylon? Like I'm part of the legacy that built help. You understand? So I'm excited. I said, yeah, man. I'm here all the time. I'm kicking my feet up. You would think I was Diddy in that studio. You understand? At this time, I'm kicking my feet up. I'm in the lounge area. I am chilling. You can't tell me nothing. Anytime I have a break, I'm going to Manhattan and I'm recording over there. Well, one night, there's a bunch of black cars in the front. And I go, oh, damn. I guess I ain't the king no more tonight. Because it gotta be this man, right? So again, we've been warring for so long. I walk up in the studio and in the lounge area, everybody's there and I see Cassie. So Cassie sees me and she's like, Dylon, what's up? And I'm like, yo, wagwan. She's like, yo, you hungry? Wait. Because this reminds me, because I have to talk about Cassie. But let's go back a little bit too, because that triggered something. You're hungry. During the wartime, I'm going everywhere and beefing with this man, wherever I think he's gonna be. In 2005, myself, my crew original, my boy D Original, and a few others, Mr. Miyagi, a bunch of us, we said, let's go to Justin's. Justin's was a restaurant in Atlanta that Puff owned. So I said, you know what? I can't find him nowhere. Let's just prove our point. So I'm gonna, step on his place. So we went to Justin's. And when I walked in, Kim Porter was there. Now I'm like, oh, I said, Kim is here. I said, this person, Kim, is the closest person to my arch rival, the one that literally stopped my entire food. So I said, yo, Kim. She's like, what's up? I said, Kim. I said, you know he dead. I started going off. I'm venting to Kim Porter about everything. Like, yo, him. I don't care if I see him, it's on sight. And Kim said, You know how he is. Did you eat? And I said, no. She was like, you need to eat. She was like, have a seat. I got you. I'm gonna cover that. This is in the middle of me warring and beefing with Sean. Kim said, did you eat? Like that type of caring, that type of nurturing soul. I was like the big sister you always wanted, you know? And I sure ate. I said, I'm gonna eat. And after I ate, she comes up back to me. She says, yo, you should get on the microphone. You should get on the mic. And I was like, for real? She was like, yeah. She was like, you got talent. You gotta give it out. You gotta go up there. Go give them you. You know, so thank you to Kim Porter. One of the most genuine, warm, nurturing souls that I have met. You know, big up to Kim Porter. You know, because I definitely thought that people close to him would be like, you know, and that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case, as you can see years later. So years later, here we go. And big up to the Combs boys. You know what I mean? Who lost a mom, for real. You lost your mom, you know? You lost your mom, and I met your mom, so bless up. That was real. So fast forward, I run up to Daddy's house, and Cassie's like, yo, she's like, you want to eat? I'm like, here we go. All your girls want me to eat. So I'm like, all right, cool. I said, nah. She's like, yo, listen, we got menus. She's like, look at the menu, look at the menu. And I'm like, I, I'm good. I said, where is he? She was like, you're not gonna order nothing? I said, who is buying it? You buying it? She's like, no, I'm using his card. And I'm like, then no, because I haven't seen him in years, and I'd rather confront him before I start. I'm not eating off. No, thank you, Cassie. Respect due. So I go around the corner, and I'm with my people at that time. You know, we never alone. And I see Uncle Paulie, his security. Uncle Paulie see me and stood up. After you pass the vault, so you walk in, Uncle Paulie see me, and he's like, yo, go on. I said, my day out bad, man. You know, everything all right. I said, y'all want to talk to Sean? He was like, all right, but your people got to go. I said, cool. And they left. And now it's Uncle Paulie, and I'm waiting. And I finally got to see Sean during the war. And I said, keep in mind, I'm recording at this best studio every day. I'm using everything, right? So I seen him finally, and he's like, yo, what's up, Playboy? I said, well, go on. He said, I see you've been working. I said, yeah. He said, that's what's up. That's what's up. I said, you know what? I said, you fucked up, but I fucked up too. You know? I think we both did wrong in those situations. But I will say, this is what I'm telling them directly. And I'm like, you know what? Thank you. Thank you for even recognizing my talent and making the world know me. Because at the end of the day, 99% of the people who's watching this right now wouldn't watch it if it wasn't for Sean. You wouldn't even know who I was. So I thanked him for that. He's like, cool, that's what's up. So yo, we're working on this project right now. And they were working on I think the last train from Paris, the works with Danny Kane. All the songwriters were there. So I'm in the studio with them. I seen Wagwan. I stayed a few minutes. I said, all right, cool. I left from there. I said to my boy JB, Jared Bernard, rest in peace, JB. To the Bernard family, love. I said, JB, you know what I'm about to do? I'm about to use everything connected to the Combs enterprise. You hear me? And I'm going to finally eat the food. Revolt is mine. Ciroc is mine. Aqua Water is mine. The whole entire thing is mine. And you know what I did? I said, I'm going to be a Ciroc boy DJ. After matter of fact, before that, when my album dropped, my Ciroc sponsored my album. Ciroc sponsored my single release tape, my everything that I did. I made sure I called the presidents of each of his companies and I said, this is Dylan, I need blah, blah, blah. I returned back to VP Records. VP Records is the largest reggae label in the world. I started my music career as a street team representative for VP. I went back to VP. Jeannie Sweetness signed me over there, and I came out with a project, Pain to Power. It was considered for a Grammy. We got to number 20 something. So it was considered for a Grammy. I never got the Grammy nomination because for the nomination, you need 5. After that, I said, all right, this is draining. Look how many wars I put in, how many years I put into the war time of it, right? So I'm going back to my first love. Remember, I started off as a DJ. But now I said I need to put 2 and 2 together. Remember, I'm a common sense man. 1 + 1 = 2. If I take my DJing and I embrace the Ciroc brand, it's over. Let me tell you something, y'all. Liquor stores had to come through me. You understand? I had people employed, people who didn't have jobs making bread off of Ciroc. We had access to the warehouse. I made more money from Ciroc than I ever did on Making of the Band. And I enjoyed every second of it. Everything was Ciroc. So now y'all want to destroy my bread. Y'all trying to stop my food again. Everything was fine until Diageo has a problem. Now all of a sudden, I can't use Ciroc no more. You stupid. Y'all wicked for that. I see what y'all did. All they wicked, all they wicked. Like things was actually good, man. Like that Ciroc money was nice. If I had a party, I had Revolt filming it. Do you understand me? I literally just said, you know what? When there's a wave, you have to go with the wave. You fought the wave for so long. This is something that's been, that bad boy empire was going on from 90 what, 92? And you really think you with no bread is gonna stop it? Tupac said it best. He said, don't go to war unless you got your money right. I did not have my money right, and I went to war. But guess what, people? I still have my integrity. So I used the brands, and I made a lot of money off of it, man. And it was a good time. And you know, I remember seeing Cassie again at the Bad Boy reunion tour. You know what I'm saying? That was nice. I wasn't invited, of course, but it's okay. I still showed up to this city and that city. I still pulled up, and I seen Cassie. I remember Cassie saying, "Hey, Dylan, you know I'm from the Caribbean." And I was like, "You're lying." She told me one of her parents was from Saint something, one of the islands. And we bonded, you know, great bonding, great soul. And you know, so big up to Cassie. And no, I wasn't part of the FO, you know what I mean? And I was a single man. No one called me to, you know, deal with Cassie. No one called me at that time. I mean, what that would have been a movie, but that's a whole next thing. Um, but even with that, like, you know, people get so caught up with the sexual things with people, and I said, we got to go back to the old law. Like, you guys, I blame y'all too, man. A bunch of grown men talking about Tootsie Rolls. We're going to stop that right now. You know, we're going to stop that. No grown men should be talking and sitting down speaking about Tootsie Rolls and measuring up people's sizes. Let's go back to the old order. You know, I want to go back to the old law. Let's go back to the old law. That's nonsense. It's nasty. You know what I mean? We didn't grow up like that, you know? Like, just it's not even funny. I mean, people are gonna be dying laughing, but y'all be laughing when I be talking some things that's dead serious. Why are we sitting there talking about people's size? Why are we doing that? You know. So, you know, so again, as a single man back then, before I got married, I wasn't invited to. Cassie didn't call me for that, and I was like, damn, that's crazy. But moving forward, respect to Cass. Me and Sean, we got a call. The year is 2020 now. And I got a call, myself and Babs Bunny, and we got a call from Sean, and Sean said, yo, I'm making a new Making of the Band. At this time, some people might remember there was going to be a new Making of the Band, and he wanted us to be judges for it. So I was like, okay, cool. So we linked up. It was in King's Theater in Brooklyn in Flatbush. And I remember when I went up there, when I went upstairs, I seen the roach. And the roach was there. And I remember being pissed because I'm like, you still work with him? Like to Sean, like you still work. And Phil seen me and he said, what you doing here? I said, so I'm not supposed to? And he ran away like, you know how they just, you know what I mean? He was gone. So boom, this is serious, like all jokes aside. And then, so if you see pictures of me, Sean, and Babs, I look very uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable to my eyes. In the words of Malika Rudder, I didn't like it. It didn't feel good to my soul that the roach was still there. And I was just like, nah, I know that we can handle this business and get things correct if I speak to Sean direct. You know what I mean? But not with that dirty roach there. Because you was my manager and you lied to, you finessed me on some real West Indian patois things. Anyway, moving forward. So we linked with Sean, everything was good. Then 2020 hit, COVID hit, boom, making of the band at MTV, that was over. So I continued on repping Ciroc. I went on and on. I seen, so Roger Bonds, as a lot of people know, Roger Bonds was part of Ciroc. He's the one who is a very, very, very major part of Ciroc. And Roger Bonds' son had an unfortunate situation in Africa where he was unlawfully arrested and detained, and I believe he's still in prison. And that's sad. My prayers for him. So in 2018, 2019, myself with a business partner, I sent money on behalf of, you know what I'm saying, just me. I sent Roger Bonds money, you know, to help with that case. I personally did that. Let me take off the shade just in case Roger's watching. Like, I want you to see this. Because again, some people really wear these shades to hide their real feelings. And I want you to see, Roger, yes, I sent you money to support that. And prayers to your son, prayers for your son. And you stopped working with Diddy because he did not support that. And I respect that. You stood on business. He didn't support you. You've been rocking and rolling with Sean forever. And he did not support, couldn't put up a post. You were vexed. I understand. Well, August 2024, I believe it's 2024, the last Revolt Summit. I see Roger Bonds. I didn't go, but I see the videos. Roger Bonds is with Sean. At this time, I go, great. I said, okay, so they must have worked things out. Everything is all right. I see Wagwan. Roger and Sean is chilling, all Revolt Summit. You know, 4 months later, when the Cassie video hit, this dude is in videos talking about, yo, you know, I ain't really like him like that. You know what I'm saying? Me and Sean, I don't really rock with Puff. I don't really like Puff. Wait, you, Roger, you were just with him this summer. The thing, what, November? You were just with him. Again, I'm a common sense man. 1 + 1 is 2. If you had a problem, why didn't you do that night at the Revolt Summit like I would have, like I did? And I still have my integrity. Y'all dudes, and some of the women too, I'm not going to understand it. Like I said, my problems with him, I've never had a situation where I had a problem with somebody that I never confronted directly. Any problem I've had, that doesn't make me a bad man, you know, not gangster, none of that. Even though I'm on bail right now, I got a warrant for my arrest right now. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be fully transparent. According to the state of North Carolina, I'm on the run right now, as we speak, and I'm not running. Now I got locked up. I got locked up the other day. I was working at Lowe's and of course doing my DJing thing. I'm a credit captain at Lowe's. Everything was fine, right? And long story short, a white guy who's been with the company for many, many years. I worked Monday to Friday, and I wanted to work for Saturday. And he told me in order for me to work on Saturday, he wanted me to wear a dress and to put on a skirt and to get his coffee, to be his bitch. So I ended up in jail, right? Long story short, right? I ended up in jail. I I go to jail. I got, you know what I'm saying? So I got to get bailed out. You know what I'm saying? My wife bailed me out, right. My money still. You know what I mean? But I get bailed out. And then, so I'm out on bail as we speak. But I got into another situation last week. Well, it's been 2 weeks now. And because of that situation in North Carolina, the North Carolina police, they put out a warrant for my arrest. You know, and they asked NYPD, the New York police, to do them a favor because they can't find me. So that the NYPD went to my family's house and asked for my whereabouts. You know what I'm saying, in New York, as if I was gonna be there, right? Like, so they I just want to tell the Apex Police Department, you're doing a terrible job. If I'm on the run, like the Apex Police Department, you're doing a horrible job because I drove past you about 8 times. 8 times. And y'all did not find me. But I have a warrant, and out on bail. And I'm on the run. And I drove past you. So I'm gonna make y'all job easier to the Apex Police Department. I'm gonna make your job really easy. After this interview comes out, I will be turning myself in. All right. So because y'all not doing your job, I will do it for you, make your job easy. I'm just gonna turn myself in and keep it moving. You know what I mean? But that just goes to
Roger Bonds.
Roger Bonds. Yeah, so Roger Bonds, like, just stand on business. If you were not dealing with Sean in any form of business because you felt disrespected due to the lack of support, then you should not have been at that Revolt Summit. Do your bid like I did. You know what I mean? Remember, 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 34. Yeah, I couldn't do that. Again, you ain't here for me. And a lot of great works came out. And I speak about this on the radio, on FUBU Radio. I'm on the radio every Sunday night, 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern time. You say, Alexa, play FUBU Radio. You go to iHeart and you check it out on iHeart. And it's like, I speak on these things. But again, I gotta blame you because you have these people up here who have all kind of problems years later, and you're entertaining the foolishness. And the crazy part is, I know that you're not that type to do that. If you, Mighty, I'm talking to you, forget these millions of people. If you had a problem with him, wouldn't you have handled that at the time?
Yeah, absolutely.
I already see how you stand. Come on, man. Me and you on the same vibe. So Wagwan. Why they couldn't do that? You know what I mean? And then it's like, and then they be going on these interview tours. I'm not doing no interview tour. Let me tell you something. All the lucky you see me today, yeah? All the lucky. I'm not jumping from this interview to that interview. And some of y'all are my dogs. Shout out to SO, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Heineken. I love y'all. But I can't do that right now, man. You know what I mean? I'll talk about you on FUBU Radio. I think people forget I am media too. I am on the radio. So I know how to deal with people. And me knowing how the algorithm works, I know that we can change that. I know we can change it. Stop giving these suckers a platform to vent years later. Stop. Just stop. Stop. If you didn't put in no work during the time that you had a problem with him, if you waking up and your body is destroyed and you didn't go to the kitchen for a knife, if you had seen him rape people and do all these crazy things that is alleged, and you were security for him, or you was his friend, or his dogs, if you seen these things happening and did not do nothing, then let's go back to the old law. It is common sense, people. Y'all pussy. You're punani. Something is wrong. It's wrong. You know, see, it's wrong. And I'm not even the gangster. I told you, I'm not just because I speak about my charges and all that, which is crazy too. Because every time I'm seen in front of the masses, I'm out on bail. I started making them the band first season, dialing out on bail, you know what I mean? And then Diddy got write letters and all that. That was crazy because they made it look like a certain way and, oh, we can't find Dylon, but they got a camera behind me looking for me. like, like people not using common sense, but now we as adults, we see it, you know, but then I finally say, okay, y'all know my probation officer is going to say, I can't be there. You know I'm on probation. Everybody knew that. Let's take it back. I was on probation. I can't go nowhere. So the minute I decide to go, what happened? Violation of probation, 7 years. 7 years? Y'all want me to see 7 years. 7 years. And Sean, you did not look out that time. He was like, the show about to end, the contract about to be up. I'm not helping this. Let's keep it real, Sean. Dougie Fresh. Respect to the legend, greatest entertainer of all time. Big up to yourself, my Bajan friend. My brother, legendary. Dougie Fresh wrote a letter and sent that to the judge and helped me get more probation instead of the years I was receiving. But the judge said, if I see you one more time, you know I'll go on. In the state of New York. Let me make that clear. With any trouble over there. So it's like, yeah, again, every time y'all see me, I'm out on bail. So yes, here I go again. I'm out on bail. Yes, I guess some things don't change. But in between that time, I came up with a lot of projects that y'all ignored, you didn't care about because you were trying to get into the white party. And I know that now, you know, but yes, we're giving suckers a platform right now. You know, we're giving people, it's literally not making sense. I need people to really think. Like when I said, like David Chappelle said, think about it. Think about it. Like really think. Really think. I need you to erase the internet for a second. Forget the world we're living in right now and go back to the block, where you're from, the roots that you had, how your parents raised you. Some of you have parents where if something happened to you, your parents would have sent you back to go whoop his ass. Some of you have parents like that would have said, well up, you my child and you didn't do nothing. You had to go back and give licks or else you get more licks. Did we forget? Did we forget? So you're telling me hundreds, not one or two, but hundreds of you are that punani, that y'all hundreds did not do anything. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. The 2 months before Sean went in, he texted me. It's on my phone. He said, I love you, bro. And I said, yeah. And I said, love you too, brother. Bless up. Keep in mind, though, the text right before that was me asking for food that we deserved, that I worked for, that I felt I did not receive. So I said, hey, you think you can send this? And that was left on red. Of course, that text was left on red. You know what I mean? But, you know, that was the last thing he said. You know, when it comes to a lot of situations, when it came to that, I was just like, there's money that might be owed. But again, why would I go to a lawyer when I know you? That's how I felt. I shouldn't have to go to no lawyer. I got your number. I finally got the number direct, by the way, after the Cassie situation, you know? And we would text, you know what I'm saying? We reasoned, we spoke light, you know, bless up, how you, praying for you. Hopefully everything is all right. You know, Combs Boys, again, the Combs Boys, I asked for a drop. I can't even get a drop. Like, yo, where's my drop for the radio? Yo, this is King Combs. You know what I'm saying? And you're listening to Dylan Dilly on Fubo Radio. You telling me, you see how quickly I did that? Where's my drop? And then y'all mad at Chopper for different thing. You see why? Because when people want to support and tell you something because I don't see things, I'm not a follower, you don't even do something back. The little things that you should do, where did you learn that from? When you actually have people to support, but you not supporting them. I ask you, I'm not asking you for money from them little boy them. I ask you for a drop, a radio drop. Have I bashed your father? To this day, no. When I went to war with him, did I? Yeah. When nobody did. When y'all all were actually scared to do it. Everybody afraid. Everybody scared. I made peace as gentlemen, as grown men. We made peace. So why do I have to go to lawyers for money that I believe fully that is owed to us that we actually earned? Come on now. And meanwhile, I'm watching the entire world, these people, his assistants, his friends, the family. Oh God, these are the gatekeepers that made sure I didn't talk to him, by the way. All got something bad to say about him. You're all punani. You're all not solid. You mean everybody? It make me not trust none of the world, you know. I don't like none of them. Even y'all watching right now, I don't like none of all you. God suck out your mother. I don't like you. I don't like how this world is moving. I don't like it. If that's what it's really boiled down to, then something is actually wrong. And trust me, every I can go on and on and on. I remember before the Pain to Power album dropped on VP, it was I signed to Akon's label, Con Live. I signed to Akon's label, Con Live, as distribution with his label, you know, and his one of his wife's labels. And again, we Con Live distribution. So this is again Akon's brand. And they said, I'm going to open up for Akon in Africa. This was around 2016, 2017. I'm going to open up for Akon in Africa. We're going to have this for you. We're going to have that. And I said, respect and love. I said, I don't want no money for this deal. Mind you, I understand how successful that Akon is. I know Boo for a very, very long time. I knew Boo when he was driving a Nissan. Was it a Nissan? You know what I mean? So I know these people a long time. I'm very happy for Akon's success. And you know what I asked for instead of money? I said, can you announce that I'm signed to your distribution? That's it. Just announce it on Twitter. Dylan Dilly is now signed to Con Live. Welcome Dylan to Con Live. I still don't see it. Peep the year though. You didn't, that's all I asked Con. Like, that's it. They say, yeah, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. Nothing. I asked his DJ, Benny Demos. Big up to Benny. I said, Benny, why are they not announcing it? He said, yo, there's a lot of politics, man. You'll understand one day, you know, you'll understand one day. I still don't understand. This is back then again. This is, you know, so the things I went through, I don't have mercy for y'all. I'm sorry. I don't have no mercy for y'all. I'm sorry if your generation or your internet generation is soft nowadays, but I don't have that kind of mercy. I I really care zero about your allegations against this dude and this, that, and a third. Because I'll tell you this, anything that has to do with another man's bedroom, I stay far from, dog. Niggas is nasty. Bitches is nasty. A lot of craziness is happening. That is not my business. It's not even like, do I believe it? Even if it's 100% true, why do I, as a man, need to know what you doing in your bedroom? That's how I honestly feel. Again, maybe I don't care. I don't care what's happening in this bedroom. You know what I mean? And so at the end of the day, all of this at this moment, a lot of people ask us, what is the charge? I say this, a lot of things in this world has to do with intention. Okay? If you live a dirty life, if you don't pay people and you're doing wrong, then karma's going to hit you one way or another, correct? But but if I am the law or somebody else that don't like you, my intention is different because there's 50 Diddy's doing 50 Diddy things. You understand? There's a lot of people doing the things that you claim that he's doing. Enough of them. We could go down the list of all of them. I was working at Ciroc, taking the brand and making my good old money. And there was a falling out with Diageo. Diageo's the one that owned Ciroc, pretty much. They own several, all of the biggest brands of liquor. They own it. Multi. I think by now you guys should know who Diageo is. And when that happened, I already knew what was going to happen. I remember fast forward, my shorty actually did some research and she seen that when the Cassie thing happened, that Cassie had the same law firm as Diageo. Diageo needed a reason, the intention. We have to get rid of this. He has black schools. He's trying to employ more black people to do proper things. He's changed his name to Love. He's trying to do positivity for the community. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to pay back artist publishing. He's trying. Man, wicked and we know that. But he might try. You understand? He's trying to do the right thing. But all you got to do is live dirty. It's easy to get you because we don't like you anyway. It's easy when you can't live dirty and do wrong and you can't get away with that. You know what I mean? Like you have to do things right. If you did right by people and you took care of your front line, imagine if every band member from every season was paid 1.2 million. Because as of this current filming, as of this moment in time right now, I do not have $1 million. As of this, things can change tomorrow. But as of right now, I do not have $1 million. Allegedly, we owed $1.2 million. Let's say each person had that. He had that and more. Let's just say. And you took care of that. You think when those allegations hit, we would have stood silent? Every last one of us would have been on the defense. Like, yo, no, he didn't. It's bad boy for life. Go suck out your mother. Leave him alone. You got to take care of your people. When that thing happened with Drake, with Drizzy, big up OVO, and Kendrick, the entire front line is taken care of. Baka's people is eating. Not just Baka. Baka's dogs them are eating and doing good. Through the trickle down of everyone being taken care of, the dogs them is fed. And it's not just about money. It's about time, it's about loyalty, it's about appreciation. But they're being appreciated. If all these people are being appreciated, I'm talking about staff, all of them, they wouldn't have done that. There's blood in the water, man. People smelled the blood in the water and said, nah, man, you know what? There's food out there. And I'm the dumbass, the over loyal, old law, traditional, I rather whoop your ass in person and deal with the old school ways that said, I don't want to go to the lawyer thing, man. We was going to try that before all of this happened. That didn't work out. I said, I'm just going to talk to him about it. I'm just going to reason with him about it. Just give me the chance, you know? And then this happened, and that happened, and that happened, and that happened. Y'all making sure I don't get my food from him ever. You, mighty. Art of dialogue is making sure that dialogue never gets it. And you know what's crazy? All you got to do is change the algorithm so that he get free up. And after he get free up, Then I get my bread and I break you off some of the bread. And then we good. You don't even got to do this. You know what I'm saying? Now you can talk about people with good credit and bad credit and extraterrestrials and talk about the Voyager mission and talk about ancient Egypt and talk about all kinds of stuff. Talk about the benefits of cannabis. You understand? We could talk about good things and things that's going to enlighten our next generation. Because guess what? Your grandkids don't want to hear this crap. Your great great grandkids don't want to hear this. That's why we love Tupac Shakur. This is why we loved you, because you were talking about somebody who spoke on so much greatness. And now you got the nerve. I'm going to cuss you, bro. You got the nerve to all have a platform of pure suckeration. That's the new word, suckeration. It is a generation of suckers that didn't do anything to the person who victimized them. But yeah, and I will say this: I would love to reason with y'all even more because, again, a lot of these situations can be broken down and dissected into more because it's like a house with many rooms. There's so many different rooms and so many things that happen along that way. Because you're talking about, we here for a few minutes and speaking on decades. You know, there's a lot. There's a lot with many other moving characters. But go ahead.
Tupac, I want to ask you about Pac. When you was around Diddy, did y'all ever have an interaction about Pac? Because I interviewed a few people that told me that, Diddy don't like when somebody mention Pac name around him or play his music. So,
Of course. And you jogged my memory. You jogged my memory. Thank you for the question. 2003, we were at the Source Awards and I linked up with Crooked Eye. And me and Crooked Eye were reasoning. Crooked Eye has a death row chain on, and I'm, of course, active member from the Bad Boy family. Myself and Crooked Eye, we reasoned and we said, yo, we should do a tune together. And we should call it the Bad Boy Death Row Collab. And I'm like, you know what? That would be fire. At this time, Sugar's in jail. I tell Crooked Eye, you know that the row won't assign me. He was like, what? So what's happened? I'm like, I'm at the Source Awards with you, with the band. What do you mean what happened? He's like, oh, okay, I dig it. So you currently Bad Boy, but you were going to come to the row? I said, yeah. Pause. I said, all right, cool. We move forward. I go out to LA. Me and Crooked Eye, we did the song. It's called the Bad Boy Death Row Collab. This is the first time in history that an active member from Death Row and an active member at Bad Boy during those times teamed up to do a collaboration, a song together. Inspired by Tupac. I remember sitting in Tupac's vehicles and all of that at that time. And Sway, shout out to Sway. Sway mixed the record. We went to Sway's house, big up to Sway, and Sway mixed down the record. Sway said, this is going to be a problem. He said, Crooked Eye and Dylon on the song Death Row and Bad Boy. He said, you know it's going to be a problem. Cool. I go back to New York. And that time we were at the Tonight video shoot for the band. And we in the tour bus getting ready. And the Bad Boy family, Sean's family and them approached me and said, what up, Trader? And I'm like, Trader? They're like, yeah, we heard that you out there in LA. All I know is that they killed my man. And we don't f with that and da-da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? Like, we already see what side you on. We don't play Tupac over here. We don't rock with none of that. We don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, none of that. None of that. You betrayed the fam. I said, how the f I betrayed the fam when I rep Bad Boy on a tune with Death Row? What are you talking about? I said, y'all need to evolve. Go suck your mother. Big beef in the tour bus, war of words. It's a tongue twister. And we went back and forth. And if you notice, when I got off the bus, the directors is there, there's big speakers, and they got the whole big red, gold, and green for me to wear. And I'm just not happy. I'm just not happy. I remember just saying like, yo, this is corny. This whole setup is corny. We as Grenadian people don't go so bright. Oh, them mother cunt. We don't do that. I don't like none of this. This is corny. They don't like me for this. You know what? Give me another reason I'm going to death row. I played Tupac so much. I remember even Babs telling me, Babs, do you remember When you cussed me at like, yo, you like Tupac? We bad boy. You can't be playing no Tupac. Like everyone was against that, and me and Chopper were the ones that played Pac the most just because. Like, yeah, respect to Machiavelli the Don, for real. Because if hip hop was a scripture book, that would be Black Jesus. That would be Black Jesus. If hip hop was a scripture book, it's not. So don't y'all gonna I already see it. He's talking about Jesus now. But yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. So Diddy, he was the one calling you a traitor over Pac.
Yeah, that wasn't he wasn't a fan of that. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. You know what I mean? I see it both ways. Yeah, rightfully so, but hell no. He wasn't feeling that. And me as a man, I don't follow people. Just like I didn't follow then. I was bad boy listening to more Tupac than anybody. I'm not here to follow the fashion and follow the norm. I think that's what people are doing. You know what's happening too? It's kind of like, when you don't like somebody, you could be in a relationship with somebody or like classmate, you at work and you don't like them. Now every little thing they do piss you off. Now you're just nitpicking all of a sudden. Now y'all find anything like they can find footage of Diddy walking in the room and say, "Look, he walking into the freak off." It's like no matter what, they're going to find something. Like Diddy could take a piece of paper and put it in the garbage and say, "Yup, that's the condoms from Punishers and that, and that's why he threw it out because da da da." It's what happens when you don't like somebody. You know, that's a heavy don't like somebody that's happening on his side. And again, karma don't hide. You know what I mean? Karma doesn't hide. So whatever's happening, it is something that you did. It's something that's happening. And that's how the cycle of life goes. I went through my karma too. My karma for not being heard for over 10 years, maybe that came from things I did in the street prior to that. Maybe I hurt people. Maybe I hurt people's families. Maybe I sent people to the hospital. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe I did a lot of different crimes. Maybe I tied up people and beat them in the head. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe I did some real criminal, bloody situations to people that I don't like. And this is the karma that I'm getting by not being heard. God have a way of silencing people, you know?
How's the relationship between you and Farnsworth Bentley?
Derek? Oh, Derek. Lord, Mr. Bentley. Mr. Bentley, Gene Deal. Why I bring that up? I told you already. Gene GG. I love how entertaining you are. And I'm not gonna disrespect anyone who's part of the Divine Nine in that way. But you gotta stop the effery. Gene Deal said that Farnsworth Bentley got kicked out of the Bad Boy Empire because he's a thief. That's what we call it. Say thief. Can you say thief? He's a thief.
Yeah, thief.
No, they say he was a thief.
I don't know how y'all.
Yeah, thank you. Caribbean people, we won again. We won. So he said that Farnsworth was stealing what J-Lo's shoes or the boots or the whatever it was. Okay, whatever it was that he said. If that's the case and he got kicked out, common sense 1 + 1 is what? 2. Then why was he on Making of the Band 4 years later? We wasn't around for J-Lo? I don't know J-Lo. J-Lo and Shy happened long before us, before we got there. So if he got kicked out for being a thief, then he gets him a position to work with us? Gee, make it make sense. The timeline ain't adding up.
Did they make up?
Sean, no, you can't. If you steal from Sean Combs, he's not making up with you. He's not, if you know Sean is not allowing you back in the house if you steal from him. That doesn't happen. You understand? You are out of here. You are gone. So I'm not understanding that it's like every week you got a story, my brother. And you stole from J-Lo, he got kicked out. All right. And then years later, now he's chilling with us for years and years. Mr. Bentley, who we call Mr. Bentley, Franzworth Bentley. See, again, I am a confrontational spirit. I would love to speak to Farnsworth, and I did message him. My problem with him has nothing to do with that. He was cool. He didn't steal no jewelry from me. He knew not to do that. Like, he knows. The point is, you started rapping because of us. You didn't rap before that. You were around us and you started writing lyrics. And after the band situation was over, you got to deal with good music with Kanye. The same Ye that I believed in, that I told the Bad Boy Camp, who did not want to work with, that I would love to work with him. And pause again. You went over there and signed to good music. And anytime I tried to call you to even get a drop or some kind of opportunity, because at this time, Pusha T, everybody's over there, Tiana Taylor, you did not want to answer that phone, Mr. Farnsworth. You did not want to answer that phone. And you know you're a coward for that. Because you wasn't rapping before that. You know? He's a Christian man. He has his wife. He has his kids. And I'm sure when I do speak to him, I'm going to tell him this, but worse. You know what I mean? This is in front of an audience. So I'm not going to talk to him the way, through you. Like, when I deal with him direct, he will, yeah, he gonna have to feel the wrath of that. But again, that's if we even buck up on him, if I ever even see him. Because again, people be hiding when they don't want to speak to you. I have a lot of situations like that. So, God bless Farnsworth. As far as back then, he was cool, man. Very bad representation for us Aquarius people. But otherwise, God bless him. Mhm. Yeah, man.
Was you there when Diddy told Freddie P that he'll take his life?
All right. This is the joy of being the big brother. Because when you're the big brother, you remember things more than your younger siblings. First of all, I love my brothers. When I say I love them. And here's the thing. Anytime I had a problem with them even, we discussed it directly. And this is not like this is nothing bad at all. That Freddie, it was 2 different days. There's 2 different days. That's all. Like even with the cheesecake thing, I heard about Jay-Z being there. There's so much to talk about. Something about Jay-Z and Beyonce was there for the cheese. We'll talk about that after this. You asked me a specific question. Let me stay here. Let me stay here. I love my brothers, man, but sometimes they don't remember. And that's what I'm gonna say right now. I'm gonna stick with this. Honestly, they might not have remembered. A lot of weed was burned down from that time to now. You know what I'm saying? With my brother, them, I understand. The day that he told us, he said, if we have a problem or disrespect, I guess our label obligations, that he would go to your neighborhood, whatever building you live in, have all the lights cut off, and pay a homeless person a bunch of bums to just start fucking you up. Every time they see you, they just gonna start fucking you up and beating your ass. And then after he gonna do this and do that, I laugh to this day. I laughed then, I laughed that day, I laughed the next week. I thought it was funny. I thought it was hilarious. That was great for TV. That was great for his personality, the whole dynamic. That's how I took it. I ain't taking that thing serious. Y'all took that serious? Yo, I'm gonna get home to the beach. Like, why were you so offended? You know what I mean? I love my brother, but yo, child, it wasn't that deep. You should have laughed like I did. Like that. You afraid of shot? Nobody no afraid. We're not afraid of Sean. Or maybe I'm just speaking for myself. Once again, you know what I mean? I'm not afraid of Sean. That's not what happened, man. Now, the other time, that time with Freddie P and Sean in that room where he wanted to poke him and all that, yeah, that's a real confrontation, you know, and that's my Sagittarius brother and in his emotions, and I ride for him and I love him and I understand.
What happened with that?
I don't know what they was talking about. I was in and out the room. I didn't stay around. Yeah, because again, you know me, I'm aloof. I be all over the place. I got things to do. I told you, my people was working with Haitian Jack and them. They pulling up in Escalades and G-Wagons and Rollies and everything else where we don't have no money. And when they pull like, yo, D, you in the studio? I'm like, yeah, I'm gone. I'm not here. I'm making moves. We got things to do. We got other deals to work with. You know what I'm saying? The Russians are calling us for dinner. We have things to do. You know, so shout out to Cornell, man. We was moving by. You understand? He got deported. He in Grenada right now. You know what I'm saying? And the rest of the mob, Jim Brown and them Monday, you know? All the Haitians I was with, all of them, man, all the Flatbush family. But no, I wasn't around as much to hear the exact thing what happened with Freddie P and Puff that day. But I do know it was a serious confrontation, and I know that that was real. You know, whatever threat that happened in that room, that. But the threat about the buildings and all that was a table meeting, and I thought it was funny. That was it. That's not a threat to me.
The cheesecake situation. From your point of view, how did that come about?
I'm gonna I'm gonna break down the cheesecake thing for you, Mighty, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if y'all internet people cut this up in shorts and don't highlight all of the positive things that I've been telling you, all of the enlightened things that I've been telling you, that all of you could suck out your mother. Every last one of you. Don't ever talk to me again. Don't ask me for no interviews. Don't come check for me. Don't even listen to Fubu Radio on Sundays from 10 to 12. Don't even do it because I feel like y'all are just wicked, y'all are wrong, and this is what y'all do. Now let's go. I would like for you to tell them that this interview is so powerful that it's something that there's not a dull moment. You want to watch from the beginning to the end. And even in the beginning where I'm like, you know, not nervous, but per se, but it's like, I don't speak to people about these things. You understand? So let me warm up for a little bit. As far as cheesecake, and let this be the final, final time. Like when I say this is the final time, meaning if I, God forbid, was to pass away next week, this year, and I'm gone, this is it. I don't care if you gave me $100,000. I'm not speaking on this. Again, I wore a light jacket with a headband, a blue headband, because they said we go into the studio. Then the antics come up. Da 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 da. This is what y'all do. I said, oh Lord. He said, Island, do you know? We know how the video goes. Will you know where to get cheesecake? I said, yeah, Junior's with my young self. And I call one of my dogs them. I say, yo, you know what he just said? He said that we need to and go get for cheesecake and walk and walk. That's what I said. You remember this? So then they start walking. I said, no. I didn't walk. I said, you know what? This is called making of the bitch. It's not called making of the bad. I don't understand this. Now this is a TV show? I thought we were going to the studio. Like now where I'm from, if they play you once, they're gonna play you again. If they if they take advantage like that, it's over for the reputation. Guard your reputation with your life, which is why I guard my reputation with my life, which is why for all those times y'all didn't see me and I disappeared, is because you tried to tarnish the reputation. The joke and everything else, which I took and flipped and made it a positive thing, it wasn't intended for that. You know, it was intended to ruin a reputation, to make somebody look over cocky with his ego and all kinds of stuff so that we can just get rid of him in the end. And that didn't work. So once again, I'm standing in front of Daddy's house and I said, let's not do that. I know people at Def Jam. We can get a deal elsewhere because keep in mind, no one's seen this yet. It's being filmed currently, like us in this current moment. If you unplug all your stuff, no one's going to see this. So I said that they're not going to even see the Cheesecake Walk. We don't have to do it. But nobody listens to Dylan. These shades of I can't relate. And no one listens to Dylan. No one, except for the people that listen on Fubu Radio from 10 to 12 on Sundays. But nobody wants to listen. I said, listen, you're filming like Blake is filming right now. If I take the thing out, Blake, no one, the world ain't gonna see this. That's all you gotta do. We go somewhere else. We're a group. We're the group. We don't need MTV. We don't need none of them. They want to walk. I see them walking up the block. I said, all right, if I don't catch up, I already know how this is gonna go. They're gonna make me look like the bad guy. I'm already the perfect villain. They already have me as the outcast. He's already on probation. This is gonna be too easy. They did it anyway, obviously, with the editing and all of that, But yeah, they had to walk. We had to walk. And we got there, and then the cake dropped. And I said, I'm done with them. I walked inside. This is my experience. I walked inside. I ordered a double shot of Hennessy, which I'm going to be drinking after this interview because I'm on the run. And after that, I walked back outside and I told Freddie P, I said, yo, I'm out. I'm catching a cab. And he said, yo, you sure? I said, he went, you sure? I said, yeah, brother, I'm out. Let's go. And we jumped in the cab and went back to Manhattan. The rest of them walked back. The next day, well, when we got there that night, of course, Sean left. He wasn't there. So they took the cake and they put it in the fridge. The next day, Beyonce had a studio session. She was working on her project at that time. Do the math. When she was working on that project, Sean said, hey, you want some cake? The group got some cake for me to sit there. And she said, yeah. And allegedly, she ate the cheesecake. Would I do it again? No. Would I even join making of the band? Absolutely not. And I love Beyonce. You know what I mean? But it's bigger than that. Like, nah. And I think B would understand where I'm coming from. Like, for real. I think she would absolutely understand. So, nah. You know?
You and Diddy, you was telling me earlier that one of the issues you had with him was the way he was cutting the episodes. Besides that, what were some of the other issues y'all had?
The real issue with me and Diddy back then was that music. Like, it was literally music. And like, you're not, that's not what you signed me for. I'm a kid. I came in to do one job. Like the sound of the music that I wanted was the sound of 111, the EP. Dylan Dilly 111, like the time. That sound, those three songs, which the band is on, that's another thing I told y'all. Y'all asked for the band reunion so many times. So many years. Where's the band? Where's the band? Y'all should reunite. It's on the EP. But the style that I used at that time, I was really petty. Yeah, now I look at it as petty a little bit, but also passionate. I wanted my style to be like this. Y'all didn't want that. And there was nothing, you just, and I don't do like he would be cool when the cameras is off and then all of a sudden like kind of like moving like a bully per se, and I don't do the bully thing, you understand? Like I don't do that. So, and then when I'm watching the show, it's not what was happening. I was like, where's the highlight of when Babs and me and everybody we cooking? No one's seen that where we cooking and laughing and having a good time. I felt like, and this was the beginning, remember, there was no such thing as reality TV of an all black cast. I felt like people didn't speak on the fact that with certified platinum or the first time black people ever did that, they didn't speak on that. You just want to speak about cheesecake. Go cheesecake your mama. Like, come on, man. Like, fuck out of here. Like, nah. Like, all y'all. But as far as that, um, Yeah, that was it. It was just that. I don't have these crazy sexual stories. Diddy didn't rape my body. I didn't do no freak off with Diddy and catch me in the bathroom, or I caught Diddy sucking wood, or people sucking him off and all this nastiness, because somebody would have dead. Like I don't know. Like I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm very common sense. 1+1. I don't understand y'all. How even if Art asks you that question, the nerve of you to answer, and then the matter of fact, I'm gonna give you, because I'm your big brother now. The next time you ask somebody, and please, I'm just suggesting, because it's your show, but as your big brother, my suggestion: next time you ask them a Diddy question and they answer it with some craziness, I need you to say, "And what did you do that day?" I'm out. I'm done, man. I'm done, man. I'm done, man. Let's continue. Let's continue. That's it next time, man. I, I wholeheartedly respect you so much for what you've been doing. Again, I'm always going to be a fan. I'll leave you with that. And I pray that beyond all of this, that the conversation you and I had, even if people are watching, that's their business, that just thank you for doing that. But I'm praying that the algorithm changes where it goes back to the original, where it's really just food for the soul. You know what I mean? And just some great stories. And later, then we get the Art's take on stuff. How did Art feel about this? How did Mighty feel about this? Was this person up to the standards that you thought he was? Was this person portrays like a gangster, but when you sat with them, they wasn't like that? Or this person was super late, or Dylan came like an hour late to the thing, and what I'm saying, I was pissed at that. Like different stuff, which I'm usually not late. But that's a whole other thing. You understand? I'm looking forward to that, man, and much honor and respect to you. Much love, yo, for real.
Dial up, man. Before we end it, man, let the people know what you got going on. Shout it out, and
If y'all can't find me and you don't know what's going on by now, go suck your mother. You don't need to know. Much love, y'all. God bless. Take care of your kids and clean your microwaves.